You're doomed. You're all doomed. You're all going to burn in hell. Yes, you know, missus.
Will you stop showing me up, please?
I'm not. I'm just getting in the mood for today's programme. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Hell and stuff.
Bounce up a minute. Hello, I'm Tony Robinson. Welcome to Wrestling with the Big One. Over the last few weeks, we've been looking at some of the parables of Jesus. But after he told them, who actually wrote them down and why? This week, we're going to be looking at the story of the sheep and the goats.
Where all the little goaties roast in the everlasting furnace.
That's you, look. You're all going to burn in a lake of hell.
And we're going to be asking why so many parables deal with the subjects of reward and punishment.
That's what Christianity's all about, man. Halos for the chosen few.
Goat kebabs for everyone else.
Was Jesus actually threatening people with eternal torment? Or is that something that was perhaps added afterwards, by the gospel writers, perhaps? Let's try and find out.
We going down here?
Yes.
Change at Baker Street.
I think so.
But don't forget the insect repellent. I got bitten to pieces out there last time.
You had it last.
You're all going to hell. Spawn of Satan. You're all going to hell.
Well, that didn't take long, did it?
I could have done without that hold up at Edgware Road.
That's the same every morning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Give us the insect repellent, then.
I haven't got it.
Patrick, have you got the insect repellent?
Leave him alone, he hasn't got it.
Well, where is it, then?
I don't know.
Come here.
Come here.
Let's have a look in your pocket, shall we?
Leave him, Blakey.
I know you. Last week it was me dental floss.
Pack it in, you two. Leave it out! Right, the parable of the sheep and goats. There's nothing weird about sheep and goats being in the same flock, by the way. Palestinian shepherds did it all the time. It's a dead efficient way of farming because the goats eat all the little plants that the sheep don't like.
OK, cop this, you lot. Right, hell and damnation, you'll see what I mean. Starts off with this all-powerful king, right? That's God, is it?
Yep.
Right. And he's doing this big judgment thing. He's sitting on his throne, all his angels are fluttering around him, and all the nations of the world are before him. So he divides them into two separate groups, in the same way a shepherd separates his sheep from his goats. Right, here we go.
And he put all the good people on his right-hand side, and he put all the others on his left, and he said to the good people, right, good people, you can go into my kingdom, because when I was hungry, you gave me something to eat, and when I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink, and when I was a stranger, you gave me shelter. And they said, when did we do that? And he said, every time you did it to the least important person among you, you did it for me.
And to all the horrible goaty people on his left, he said, you're left-handed, aren't you?
Yeah?
Figures. He said, get down into the eternal fires of damnation, you goatees, because when I was hungry, you didn't give me anything, and when I was thirsty, you didn't give me anything, and when I was a stranger, you slammed the door in my face. And the goatees were going, we didn't, we never.
And he said, you did. Every time you refused to help the least important of your brothers, you refused to help me. Now get down into the eternal fires of damnation.
You see, that's what I'm saying. The goodies go to heaven and the baddies fry in hell. That's what Jesus said in black and white.
Well...
No, it's their tone. Matthew, chapter 25, verses 31 through 36.
Yeah, but who actually wrote the story down?
Well, Matthew, I should think.
And this isn't the disciple Matthew, remember? This is a church leader who was around about 50 years after Jesus died.
I've been bitten again.
And he was an ordinary bloke, and like all ordinary people, he had his problems. So what he wrote was affected by those problems.
I'm getting bitten to pieces out here. I'll have you, Patrick. Now, what are we doing next? The unmerciful servant?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
I haven't finished talking yet.
We'll talk on the move. Flipping sound men.
So what I'm saying is, it's important to remember who wrote these stories down, why they wrote them, and what was going on at the time.
Well, what was going on at the time?
Well, poor old Matthew was having a really rough ride when he wrote his gospel. His entire congregation were at each other's throats day and night.
Get that boom out of shot.
Are you listening to me?
Of course I'm listening to you.
Well, it doesn't sound like it.
I am.
So you've got all these Jewish converts, right, and they want to keep the church exclusively Jewish. And then you've got all these Gentile converts who don't give a toss about all this Jewish stuff, and they're all slagging each other off and trying to get each other kicked out of the church, just like you and Patrick and your flipping Sting stuff.
It's not my fault he nicked the flipping Sting stuff.
Don't start again.
I'm not.
So you get this same thing going on in Matthew time and time again. He's saying, stop quarrelling. By all means come into the kingdom, but once you're inside it, shape up, because we're not going to tolerate bad behaviour. And quite frankly, I rather sympathise with him.
Right. Here we go. There's not any bitey things up here, are there?
How should I know? Who am I supposed to be? The bride of Dracula's mother or something?
All right. We'll do it here, yeah?
Yeah.
Right.
Right, this is the parable of the unforgiving servant.
Now, this is the same sort of thing, all right? This is Matthew saying, stop rowing all the time. Just because you've got into God's kingdom, it doesn't mean you can do as you like. Forgive and forget. Otherwise, God will punish you.
You haven't been reading up on this stuff, have you?
Yes, in the Beano. Right. So once upon a time, there was this king,
Hang on. We need a third person for this, don't we?
We haven't got a third person for this.
Yes, we have.
No, we haven't.
We have.
We have not.
Stop being childish. Patrick, come on, this is your big break.
Oh, not him. Leave it out. You've got to be joking, Tony.
He was your best mate last week. Who stood him a takeaway at the kosher Chinese in Bethlehem? Come on, what's the matter with you?
Look, I don't like mosquitoes. I don't like being bitten by mosquitoes, and he has got my insect stuff, I'm telling you.
He has not got your insect stuff. Patrick, have you got Blakey's insect stuff?
See?
Thank you, Patrick. You happy now?
Fine. Come on, Sir Lawrence. In you come.
Don't do that.
Don't
Don't
be
do
shy.
that. Honestly, you're so childish, you two.
Are we doing this
Yes,
or what?
we are.
Right. Well, get the hats then. Right. Now, Jesus told this story because...
Where are the hats?
They're on the hat rack. Now, Jesus told this story because his mate Peter had asked him a question, right?
Yeah, according to Matthew, Peter comes up to Jesus and he says, if my brother sins against me, how many times must I forgive him? 7? So presumably Jesus' disciples have been giving each other grief about the insect stuff or something, haven't they, Patrick? And Jesus says, no, not 7. Not 7 times 7. 70 times 7.
Hat for you.
Thank you.
Nice little number for the sound man. And a hat for me.
How come you get that one?
Because I am the king. Right. There was this king. Now, for a king, he was an unusually relaxed and generous fellow. In fact, he'd lent all his servants loads of money. But now he wanted it back because he was buying a new holiday cottage in Tiberias and the 20,000-mile service was coming up on his Gold State coach. So, he calls all his servants into this huge banqueting room, right? And one of them, who was fairly good-looking, but like one sandwich short of a picnic, this guy owed the king 10,000 talents. That's you, Patrick. Right? So, give me 10,000 talents. You say, I haven't got it.
I haven't got it.
Right. So the king said,
Well, I'm going to sell you as a slave, and your wife and your kids, until your debt is paid.
and the servant said, you say, Lord, have patience on me, and I will pay you everything.
Lord, have patience on me, and I will pay you everything.
Stick to being a sound man, mate.
And the king felt really sorry.
No, they can't hear you, Tone. You know, Patrick, go over there and mic him up. Go on.
Sorry, right, and the king felt sorry for him and he let him off his debt. But this same servant, that's you, Patrick, he went up to another servant who owed him 100 denarii, which is like nothing, and he grabbed him round the throat, I'll hold your pole, and he said to him, pay me what you owe me.
Pay me what you owe me.
But I haven't got any money. And the servant had him flung into prison. Fling me, fling me. Ah! 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 Ah!
And when they saw what had happened, the other servants went and told the king, who said, Patrick, you are a wicked, evil servant. Get down into that jail and do not come up till you paid your debt.
And that, says Matthew, is what your heavenly Father will do to you if you don't forgive your fellow man.
How did you get out?
I bribed the guard.
So he's like telling his congregation off for slagging each other off all the time. And it's not really about eternal damnation and hellfire at all.
Well, some people might think so, but I don't. I think it's about Matthew being surrounded by temperamental people who keep arguing about irritating trivia.
Yeah, I can't stand people like that. You got my lips out.
No, I've not.
Well, where is it then? Have they got it?
Leave them alone, will you? See you next week.
Patrick, your lips look a bit shiny.
Get on.